Let's get started with our first news. Alexander Volkanovski praises Islam Makhachev. Alexander Volkanovski might have been knocked out by Topuria in the second round of their UFC 298 fight, but he believes that the only fighter who can drag him into deep waters and beat him over 5 rounds is Islam Makhachev. Topuria and everyone else merely have a puncher's chance when facing him in the octagon. During a pre-fight interview with Main Event TV ahead of his fight with Diego Lopez in April, Volkanovski spoke about his confidence in his abilities, while also giving credit to Makhachev. He was discussing Lopez's path to victory in their upcoming featherweight title fight when he made his statement. "I don't believe anyone can beat me. The only person that I can see giving me a tough fight for 5 rounds is Islam Makhachev, which we know from the first one. As you've seen, everyone else has just got a puncher's chance. That's just how I always look at it, and I truly believe that. And that's the confidence I have in myself. No one can beat me. They can catch me, so I think he needs to be reckless to beat me. If he tries to fight this perfect fight, it's not going to work. He needs to try and be reckless and catch me. That's his best chance." These are strong words from a fighter who has been at the top of his game for years. Volkanovski is known for his durability, his incredible cardio, and his ability to adjust in fights. But after suffering a knockout loss to Topuria, questions have been raised about whether he can still dominate the division like he once did. His fight against Diego Lopez will be a crucial test, and the result will tell us a lot about where he stands in the division. Ahead of the fight, Volkanovski is sitting as a slight betting favorite on most major sports books, while Lopez is considered a slight underdog. Despite being the favorite, many believe Lopes is a dangerous opponent with the power and skills to pull off an upset. The biggest question remains, can Volkanovski bounce back? Fighters over the age of 35 competing for titles in weight classes below 185 pounds historically have struggled. Will Volkanovski be able to break the curse and reclaim his title? Only time will tell. Moving on to the second news, Dana White ghosts Logan Paul asking to join the UFC. While there is no love lost between Dana White and Jake Paul, Dana has actually praised Logan Paul as a good businessman. This came after the UFC signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Prime, the energy drink co-founded by Logan Paul and KSI. But despite Logan's business success and his combat sports experience, when it comes to actually fighting in the UFC, it seems that Dana White has absolutely no interest. During a recent episode of his Impulsive podcast, Logan revealed that he texted Dana White about fighting on the UFC 300 card last year. He wanted a shot at competing in the octagon on one of the biggest UFC events in history. But guess what? White never got back to him. And according to Logan, the reason could be how CM Punk's run in the UFC went. He recalled the situation and said, "CM Punk fed up. He fed up." And after that, Dana was like, "I'm never doing this again." But dude, I'm not CM Punk. He was a great wrestler, not a UFC fighter. I think I would be a much better UFC fighter than I would just a boxer. My skill is wrestling. I'm a wrestler. Logan believes that his wrestling background sets him apart from CM Punk, who struggled badly in his UFC career. While CM Punk was a WWE superstar with no real combat sports experience, Logan Paul has wrestling credentials from his high school days and has showcased his grappling ability in WWE. He has also trained in boxing and stepped into the ring with the likes of Floyd Mayweather and Dylan Dennis. However, despite his confidence in his abilities, Dana White didn't even respond to his text. Logan recalled the moment while speaking with Tom Aspinall on the podcast. "I told Dana for UFC 300, I texted him. I said, 'Hey man, consider me available to fight on the undercard in the Sphere.' Yeah, beat to basically completely ignored me." So what's next for Logan Paul in MMA? If he is really serious about competing in mixed martial arts, the most likely landing spot would be the PFL, Professional Fighters League. Why? Because Jake Paul has already signed with the PFL and has a good relationship with the promotion. It wouldn't be surprising if Logan followed in his brother's footsteps and made his MMA debut there instead of the UFC. Will we ever see Logan Paul inside the octagon, or has Dana White already shut the door on that possibility forever? Moving on to another news, UFC manager reacts to Colby Covington's comments. Earlier this week, Colby Covington took shots at Paul Felder, bringing up an alleged wild incident that reportedly happened while they were on an army base. According to Covington, Felder got way too drunk, lost control, and ended up in an embarrassing situation, tied to a toilet. Covington claimed that the former UFC fighter turned commentator drank an entire bottle of Jack Daniels before things spiraled out of control. He said that Felder got into an argument with his manager, Brian Butler, and at that point, Covington himself had to step in to deal with a blacked out Irish dragon. However, Butler quickly refuted this story, clarifying that while yes, Felder did get drunk, the whole tied to a toilet part was simply not true. In a response, Butler shared his own version of what really happened, recalling a bizarre and slightly hilarious scene. I open the door and I see water coming out from the bathroom. I see Paul's shadowy figure just teetering, and I'm like, this is like a horror movie. Butler described how things got messy, but it was more of a funny night of drinking rather than the wild, humiliating scene Covington painted. According to Butler, Felder definitely had too much to drink, but he was never tied to a toilet. The next morning, as Felder finally stepped off the elevator and entered the hotel lobby, everyone was ready to roast him. It was all in good fun, with Felder seemingly taking it in stride. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Despite his usual trash-talking reputation, Covington wasn't actually trying to humiliate Felder. Instead, Butler says that Covington was actually looking out for him the entire time. That's just on brand for Colby, Butler said, implying that despite Covington's loud-mouthed, polarizing personality, he does have moments where he looks out for his peers. This unexpected revelation adds an interesting layer to Covington's character. While he's often seen as a villain inside and outside the octagon, stories like this show that he might not be as bad as some people make him out to be. Regardless of the truth, one thing is for sure: Paul Felder won't be living this night down anytime soon. Magomed Ankaliev fires back at Alex Pereira's comments. The rivalry between Magomed Ankaliev and Alex Pereira is heating up once again. In a recent interview on X, Pereira made some bold statements about their previous fight, and Ankaliev wasted no time in firing back. Reacting to Pereira's claims, Ankaliev made it clear that he doesn't believe the champion truly deserved the win. In a fiery response, he didn't hold back at all, saying, "He upset I hold him against the cage, but he not upset when I almost knock him out. Nobody in the world think he won. Next fight will be under 3 rounds. I only trained 4 weeks for my last fight. The UFC know this. This was his best chance." According to Ankaliev, his performance in their fight was nowhere near his best. He revealed that he had only 4 weeks of training camp. Despite that, Magomed still believes he dominated the fight and was close to finishing Pereira. But the drama didn't stop there. Also made allegations that Pereira may have used greasing tactics, suggesting that Pereira intentionally made himself slippery to avoid getting controlled in the fight. Completely dismissed the accusation, but he did it in the most savage way possible. Instead of a technical response, he went straight for a personal attack on Pereira's looks. Honestly, I really like his coach, but I don't like Alex's face. That one-liner alone set social media on fire, with fans reacting in all kinds of ways. But Ankaliev wasn't finished yet. When asked about a potential rematch, he delivered another bold statement, predicting exactly how it would go down. "Your game will make this man sleep." It's clear that Magomed Ankaliev is brimming with confidence and has no doubts about his ability to defeat Alex Pereira in a second fight. He believes that if they fight again, he will knock out Pereira in under 3 rounds and leave no doubt about who the best light heavyweight in the world is. With all the trash talk and heated exchanges, fans are more excited than ever to see a rematch between these two powerhouses. The first fight may have ended in controversy, but a second fight could finally settle the debate once and for all. So, what do you think? Will Magomed Ankaliev take out Alex Pereira in a rematch, or will Pereira prove him wrong once again? Moving on to another news, Ilya is fully committed to his transition into the lightweight division. While his opponent remains unconfirmed, Topuria has made it clear that he is only preparing for one of 2 men, Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira. The Spanish star has his sights set on achieving 2-division champion status following a dominant run at featherweight. After defeating Alexander Volkanovski and then delivering a historic knockout against Max Holloway, Topuria made a shocking decision. He vacated his featherweight title. The reason? His continued struggles to make the 145-pound weight limit. Instead of draining himself to compete at featherweight, Topuria decided to move up and chase gold in the 155-pound division. Now he's laser focused on taking over the lightweight division and making history. All my training is focused on Islam or Charles because I don't see any other opponents, Topuria declared. Despite his unwavering confidence, reports suggest that Makhachev's camp isn't sold on Topuria getting a title shot just yet. Sources close to Makhachev's team believe that Topuria should prove himself against another contender before stepping into the cage with the lightweight king. However, Topuria doesn't care about opinions. He wants gold. Whether it's Makhachev or Oliveira, the undefeated Spanish star is determined to take over. He believes his explosive power, high-level grappling, and killer instinct will carry him to lightweight gold just as it did at featherweight. But the road to the lightweight throne is far from easy. The 155-pound division is one of the most stacked weight classes in MMA history, filled with world-class strikers, elite wrestlers, and dangerous submission artists. If Topuria wants to dominate at lightweight, he'll have to prove he belongs among the division's best. With Topuria now locked in on making his lightweight debut, the only real question is who will stand in his way. If the UFC grants him an immediate title shot, we could be looking at one of the biggest super fights in recent memory. But if Topuria has to earn his spot, then a #1 contender fight could be on the horizon. Could we see a potential showdown with Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, or Beneil Dariush before he gets his shot? Either way, the message is loud and clear. Ilia Topuria is coming for the lightweight throne. The only question now is, can anyone stop him? Moving on to another news, Conor McGregor fires back at the Irish government. McGregor may be in favor with the Donald Trump administration, but his chances of making the ballot paper in Ireland's presidential poll are close to zero. On top of that, McGregor is potentially facing charges of inciting hatred, which could put him in prison for up to 7 years. This all stems from McGregor's recent criticism of the Irish government. The former UFC champion has accused them of abandoning the voices of the people of Ireland while taking direct aim at the country's immigration policies. However, McGregor is not backing down. On Tuesday, he took to social media with a powerful message, writing, "For the people of Ireland, I stand my ground. May our truth never be silenced." But that wasn't all. McGregor followed up with an even stronger statement declaring, "They will have to kill me to stop me." His defiant words sent shockwaves across social media, sparking heated debates about his political intentions and whether he's truly serious about running for office. McGregor then continued, vowing that he would change Ireland forever. "The Constitution will be fixed, power torn from the grasp of the political elite. The truth shall prevail. Ireland will be free." His fiery rhetoric has drawn both supporters and critics into the conversation. Some see him as a voice for the people, a fearless fighter who isn't afraid to challenge the system. They believe his charismatic leadership, along with his passion for Ireland, could bring real change. However, others argue that McGregor is too reckless and too unpredictable for politics. While his influence as a public figure is undeniable, critics question whether he has the experience, diplomacy, and stability needed to lead a country. His past controversies, legal issues, and explosive temper only add fuel to their skepticism. Still, McGregor's huge following cannot be ignored. Whether he seriously intends to run for office or this is just another high-profile rant, one thing is clear: he knows how to grab attention. His social media posts have already ignited a massive discussion about Ireland's political landscape, immigration policies, and the power dynamics within the government. Some fans have even started using # Vote McGregor, showing their support for the idea of him disrupting the system. One way or another, McGregor has made his stance known. The only question now is, what comes next? What do you think? Is Conor McGregor a true leader fighting for his people? Or is this just another loud and bold statement from the former UFC superstar?